This industry is a monster.
I understand what it's worth doing when the industry is canceling one black guy. I know what happens when they are going to elevate another.
Everybody wants to know, why'd you walk away from $50 million?
I wasn't walking away from the money.
Yeah.
I was walking away from the circumstances.
Not they offered him $50 million and he turned it down. Who gonna turn down $50 million?
They're trying to convince me I'm insane. They were trying to get me to take psychotic medication. They are trying to kill me.
Yeah.
What's going on? Why is Dave Chappelle going to Africa? Why does Mariah Carey make a $100 million deal?
Picture the sparkling lights of Hollywood, where legends are born, fortunes are made, and reputations can be erased overnight. In a world powered by headlines and driven by billion-dollar deals, there's a growing chorus of voices warning that everything beneath the surface may be far darker than it appears. Dave Chappelle turned his back on a jaw-dropping $50 million. Katt Williams has been calling out shadowy puppet masters for years. And Oprah Winfrey, a beloved media icon, now stands at the heart of a storm of rumors. What if the real drama in Hollywood isn't on the stage or the screen, but behind the scenes, in a tangled web of favors, silence, and orchestrated takedowns? Today, we unravel the stories behind these whispers. We'll examine how two outspoken comedians became symbols of resistance and why one of the most influential figures in media is being linked to allegations of control, humiliation, and even ties to unsettling controversies. Stay with me because by the end of this journey, you may never look at Hollywood the same way again. For decades, Oprah Winfrey has been celebrated as a visionary, a talk show trailblazer who beat the odds, transformed daytime television, and then built a media empire spanning print, film, and her very own network. It's no exaggeration to say that few people in entertainment have wielded as much influence. She's interviewed presidents, conferred her famous book club stamp of approval on emerging authors, and shaped discussions around health, spirituality, and personal growth. Yet whispers about Oprah's rise have persisted in the background of Tinseltown, that beneath her benevolent image lies someone intimately connected to Hollywood's most powerful players. Rumors claim she doesn't simply run a network. She's part of a behind-the-scenes circle that determines which stars get crowned and which ones get canceled. If this sounds outlandish, consider that her endorsement has single-handedly launched careers, and her apparent disapproval has coincided with quick PR disasters for certain celebrities. But that isn't the whole story. Behind the soft-spoken interviews and standing ovations lurk questions that just won't go away. People ask, how does one individual maintain such a spotless reputation in an industry famous for rivalry and scandal? Why do so many A-listers bend over backward to appear on her couch, even when they're embroiled in controversies? And why have certain stars, known for their candor, implied that Oprah's connections run deeper than anyone outside the industry truly understands? Dave Chappelle was the dazzling comedic genius who burst onto the scene with an unfiltered brand of humor that turned social norms on their head. As host and co-creator of his own sketch show, he didn't just poke fun at politicians and celebrities. He challenged America's comfort zone. The results were staggering success, millions of adoring fans, and a contract reportedly worth $50 million to keep the laughs coming. Then, almost overnight, he vanished. He traveled to Africa, left producers stunned, and triggered an avalanche of speculation. Was he on substances? Had he genuinely lost his mind? The mainstream media ran wild with stories of a burnt-out comedian who didn't know how to handle fame. But if you listen closely to Dave himself, he drops hints of a far darker reality. He said outright that he was tired of feeling manipulated, like he was being nudged to perform a caricature of his own culture for mass entertainment. And what happened next would shock everyone. Suddenly, the talk show circuit lit up with speculation about Dave's mental stability. Tabloids questioned his judgment. High-profile media personalities implied he'd thrown away a once-in-a-lifetime chance. Yet, Dave insisted he was preserving something more important than money: his dignity, his creativity, his very soul. Whispers floated around that Oprah Winfrey, among other influential figures, may have been instrumental in controlling the narrative that portrayed Dave as unstable. While she never explicitly confirmed any involvement, fans wondered why her coverage, or lack thereof, seemed to tilt so heavily against him. If Dave Chappelle's exit from Hollywood felt abrupt, Katt Williams' outspokenness arrived like a whirlwind, kicking up dust in every direction. Armed with biting wit and an uncanny knack for calling out uncomfortable truths, Katt publicly shared stories of how the entertainment industry systematically breaks people who won't toe the line. He has endured his own controversies, brushes with the law, public disputes, canceled shows, but instead of playing the victim, Katt has repeatedly insisted these troubles weren't random. He claims they were orchestrated by the same hidden hands that tried to smear Dave. In interviews, he'd point a finger squarely at the so-called Hollywood elites, accusing them of using money, influence, and carefully planted media stories to mold or destroy a star's public image. But that wasn't the whole story. Katt extended these accusations to suggest that black performers are particularly vulnerable, lifted to dizzying heights of fame, then pitted against each other to control the narrative. From rumors of orchestrated feuds to choreographed publicity, stunts like the infamous Will Smith-Chris Rock Oscars incident, Katt believes many random Hollywood dramas are hardly random at all. And he's repeatedly mentioned Oprah as a key figure in this ecosystem, hinting that her supportive public persona could mask deeper collaborations with powerful players who prefer to keep their operations out of public view. To understand the significance of these allegations, it helps to imagine Hollywood as more than just movie premieres and paparazzi photos. According to insiders, it's a multi-layered system where a handful of people hold outsized power over which projects get funded and which celebrities bask in the spotlight. Deals happen behind closed doors, alliances form and dissolve based on whispered promises, and if you rebel or threaten the machine, it can close ranks against you in an instant. Oprah's rumored role: a gatekeeper with the reach to sustain or sink someone's career. Her connections to major studio heads and influential publishers grant her the kind of access that can sway public perception almost overnight. When she approves, you see best-selling books, Oscar campaigns, and a polished redemption arc for any star who has fallen from grace. When she withholds that approval, rumor has it that big doors slam shut, PR storms rage, and entire careers can spiral. And the revelations get even more disturbing. Some claim the industry's upper echelon remains intentionally small to ensure compliance. Only a few chosen celebrities get a seat at the table, and they know to safeguard their membership at all costs. This is why, the theory goes, you rarely see major stars openly criticizing the system. They fear being ostracized. Dave Chappelle, Katt Williams, and a handful of others are exceptions who refused to play the game, and their personal sagas hint at the backlash that follows disobedience. While Dave and Katt's experiences paint Oprah as part of Hollywood's controlling machine, her own controversies have pushed these rumors further into the spotlight. For instance, her past association with Harvey Weinstein, once a powerhouse producer, came under scrutiny when allegations against him emerged. Critics questioned if Oprah had turned a blind eye to the red flags, or worse, actively enabled the environment he thrived in. Then there was her interview with Cindy Crawford, in which Cindy felt she was treated more like a spectacle than a guest. The footage, once easy to find online, mysteriously disappeared, fueling speculation that Oprah's team might be whitewashing moments that don't fit her carefully cultivated image. Even more disconcerting are rumors tying Oprah to figures like Jeffrey Epstein and John of God, the Brazilian faith healer later convicted of horrific abuses. Though Oprah has never publicly admitted wrongdoing, the question lingers: did her immense influence shield these figures or inadvertently help them gain legitimacy? But it doesn't stop there. Numerous public figures have started to question whether Oprah's brand, built on empathy, empowerment, and authenticity, might disguise a more pragmatic strategy behind the scenes. In a world where allegations can topple careers, her silence on certain issues and her willingness to spotlight questionable personalities have left some fans torn. They wonder if she's simply a talk show host who's occasionally been deceived by clever individuals, or if something more systematic and troubling might be at play. In a realm where hush money agreements, NDAs, and carefully coordinated publicity dominate, Dave Chappelle and Katt Williams stand out for their willingness to air dirty laundry in public. Dave, upon resurfacing in the spotlight, hasn't minced words about the suffocating environment he left behind. He's spoken on stage about feeling labeled and used, observations that have only intensified chatter that his abrupt exit was a calculated move to protect himself from manipulative forces. Katt, for his part, has suffered repeated public setbacks, arrests, bizarre run-ins, canceled gigs that cynics dismiss as antics. But if you listen to Katt's explanations, he frames these incidents as a campaign to paint him as unstable, thereby undermining his credibility whenever he exposes the entertainment industry's supposed underbelly. Both comedians highlight a striking pattern. The moment they stepped off the script offered by Hollywood's elite, they got slammed with negative headlines, rumors, and career obstacles. And what happened next would shock everyone. Interestingly, neither Dave nor Katt has permanently disappeared. Each maintains a devoted fan base that admires them for their raw honesty and comedic genius. In stand-up specials, interviews, and social media posts, both have reasserted their independence. They're no longer beholden to network contracts or reliant on the usual talk show circuit for validation. Their resilience, in many ways, has made them more dangerous to the power structure. After all, if they can survive without the machine, what does that say about the machine's true hold over celebrities? One of the more insidious tactics Katt Williams has pointed out involves orchestrated feuds and staged public incidents. The aim? To create rifts among black entertainers so they never collectively challenge the hidden system controlling them. The shocking Oscar night slap involving Will Smith and Chris Rock stands as a prime example in Katt's eyes, an explosive moment that drew global attention but conveniently overshadowed deeper controversies simmering in Hollywood's background. Many found themselves asking, why would two iconic black figures, a revered actor and a pioneering comedian, end up in a sensationally humiliating moment on live TV? Conspiracy or not, the incident sidetracked every other conversation for weeks. Meanwhile, real issues about industry inequality, exploitative deals, and hush-hush alliances fell off the radar. Katt suggests these diversions are planned. The bigger the spectacle, the more likely the public is to chase the story everyone's talking about, instead of noticing more systemic issues. But that isn't the whole story. If you tie this back to Oprah, the theory is that she's among those who navigate these orchestrations with precision, spotlighting feel-good interviews or must-see moments while sidestepping uncomfortable truths. Critics believe her focus on drama can serve to keep audiences enthralled and uncritical. By the time the public recovers from the shock of one incident, a new headline takes over, and the cycle continues. As cracks form in the once untouchable facade of Hollywood's biggest players, it's clear that the narrative is shifting. Dave Chappelle's bold exit, and subsequent return on his own terms, has shown that walking away from massive deals doesn't automatically spell career ruin if you command enough genuine support. Katt Williams continues to speak freely, despite paying a steep price in the form of tarnished headlines and canceled projects. Their very survival has emboldened others to question whether the so-called gatekeepers, including Oprah, are as invincible as they appear. Simultaneously, the public has grown more skeptical of glossy talk shows, feel-good stories, and celebrity endorsements. In an age where social media offers immediate, unfiltered access to star voices, it's getting harder for orchestrated narratives to dominate unchallenged. Oprah, once revered without question, now faces a barrage of skeptical eyes who remember how she stood with certain controversial figures, or how she handled sensitive interviews. And what happened next would shock everyone. We're at a pivotal moment in entertainment history. Tinseltown has built itself on mystique and exclusivity. But these days, illusions can be shattered by a single viral clip or a revealing live stream. The question is whether these revelations will finally dismantle the old structures or simply push them to evolve in new, subtler ways. Hollywood has survived countless scandals. Will Oprah's empire and the behind-the-scenes machines she's tied to endure this wave of suspicion and exposure? Or does this mark the beginning of the end for an entrenched network of unspoken deals and carefully managed secrets? In a world where fame and fortune glimmer like the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, we rarely stop to consider what might be lurking behind the scenes. Dave Chappelle's decision to walk away from $50 million was a jolt that made us ask tough questions about the price of Hollywood success. Katt Williams, with all his unfiltered honesty, dared to describe a machine designed to elevate a few and tear down anyone who challenges the status quo. And then there's Oprah Winfrey, once hailed as a beacon of kindness and empowerment, now facing allegations of complicity in a system that feeds on power, silence, and scandal. This story isn't tidy. Hollywood's history is riddled with rumors of cover-ups and shady dealings, and many big names who once seemed invincible have fallen from grace after their secrets bubbled to the surface. Oprah's critics say she's next, pointing to her curious ties with controversial figures and her role in shaping the public's perception of stars like Dave Chappelle. Yet she's also built decades of goodwill and loyalty, which is no small advantage. Where does the truth lie? perhaps somewhere in the blurred lines between legitimate success and the darker networks that hold Hollywood together. For every person who sees Oprah as a champion for the voiceless, there's another who views her as part of an elite club that enforces unwritten rules of silence. Dave Chappelle and Katt Williams have peeled back a few layers of the mask, showing the public that not all glitz is pure gold. What comes next might be bigger than any single exposé. With social media eroding the centralized power of traditional talk shows and press outlets, more artists feel emboldened to speak out. Each new revelation widens the cracks, making it harder for orchestrated narratives to hold. Whether this topples an empire or drives it into stealthier forms of control remains to be seen. But one thing is certain: these discussions aren't going away. The stories of Chappelle, Williams, and Winfrey are part of a broader cultural reckoning about who really holds the reins in Hollywood, and at what cost. So keep your eyes open and your mind critical. Sometimes the most breathtaking show is the one unfolding behind closed doors, where the only spotlight is the one we choose to shine. Thank you for watching. If you found yourself questioning what you once took for granted about your favorite celebrities, you're not alone. Feel free to share your thoughts below, and be sure to stay tuned for more investigations into the enigmatic world of Hollywood's hidden power players. Your perspective could be the key to unlocking the next layer of this ongoing saga.